I dropped out of high school to build a company to help teachers save time grading and create resources right inside of their Google Docs or Canvas or Toddle so that they can save time and give students even better education and feedback.
Woo! Good. Tell me a little bit more. Like, show me what this is doing.
Yeah, so over here, it's actually adding comments directly inside the document so teachers don't have to go back and forth between something like ChatGPT to give students the best feedback. They can return it all inside of Google Classroom, and they give students really detailed feedback, much better than they could have manually done for like 120 papers when you have so many students.
Oh. Go.
Hey, Leland, it's great to talk to you. Todd Breckus, Chief Product Officer at Renaissance. We've been innovating like crazy. I got two things to show you today. We'll be fast. One, we are launching AI in Nearpod, generative AI built around our own large language models, built around our connection between all the rich data that we've been gathering, all the pedagogical modeling that we've had in Nearpod for over a decade, building an AI. So literally teachers can go generate a lesson with AI. Think about all the challenge. Let's just do the traditional Civil War. Put that in. This is live in our beta. Traditional Civil War. Add the content. You might have to edit this out because my internet is super slow.
Internet access.
Okay, so instantly this Nearpod is created on the fly from one specific topic. I could have done it from standards. I could have done it from skills. I could have done it from grade levels.
Right.
Has built all that Nearpod for me, and will create automatically that Nearpod. I can say pedagogically, this doesn't belong here, this doesn't belong here. Right. I can have that create automatically. A Nearpod is created from me from this literally those two words, or a standard or a skill.
So this is just one of the big pieces of news,
big features launching this now for back to school. We're excited about that. That's going to change the game for simplicity of Nearpod.
What's the curve of training? Do teachers even need to be trained at all?
No. This is
like open the box and
open
go?
the box and go and click a button and start playing and start working on it.
Wow.
You can be assured it's coming from Renaissance and Nearpod, pedagogical connection to a deeper understanding, and then built from our safe and effective use of AI. Next. And by the way, we also on Nearpod have Near AI lessons built with Common Sense Media, whole other topic for later.
Okay.
Second big thing is we are launching, last year when we talked, we launched Renaissance Next.
Yes.
Now we are building Renaissance Next into core programs. So teachers are going to be able to use their core, plan instruction from their core publisher scope and sequence, see the links to assessments, think about what happens to the students who know or don't know this lesson before I start teaching it. How does assessment drive instruction? How do I blend assessment-driven instruction and practice in a model? Now, here's where my point is: AI without assessment is dangerous. AI is creating stuff and doing stuff, but what are you measuring and what are you bringing it back? We're keeping that core solid. We're keeping that connected to state standards, skills, and now aligned to the core, so that teachers can use their assessment data and their instruction together.
So you're enveloping it to make sure that it fits the context and the culture of actual school.
That's right, exactly. And also the data that is in our classroom. So now, in my classroom, this is all PII safe. This is all, nothing is shared outside of this. When we build these models, we give data disaggregated models, but these students in this classroom are going to recommend some specific skills for those students before they start this core instruction because they don't understand it, they don't know it. We bring Nearpod into this mix, we bring our Freckle products, and overall, the teacher can see which students, before they even start teaching, need a prerequisite skill plan. They need an enrichment pathway, because we got 9 of our kiddos and 23 kids that need either an enrichment or a remediation. So before they even start teaching, assessment driven to instruction. Super excited.
Awesome.
Thank you.
What are some tools or a tool that you're using at Class Dojo, and what success you're seeing to combat these crises that are occurring?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot going on, right? I think about absenteeism. Class Dojo is used by 45 million families in 180 countries. And it really is about creating like a super positive school culture. It's rooted in its early days of like positive behavior intervention, but now that it's added communication, sharing photos, making people feel welcome and safe, I think it plays a big role in kids wanting to come to school. We have Dojo Islands, which is a game inside our app, which kids love to play, and Mojo the Monster, which made an appearance at our booth today, and it's just it's just another thing that just makes coming to school, fun. And I think when parents, I was an elementary principal and teacher, so I think when you can create this environment where parents feel safe to send their kids feel safe, it can really help with people wanting to come to school. And you could probably dovetail that into school choice. I was a public school administrator. I've been in education companies for a long time, worked with private schools, worked with charter schools, can see the disruption, but really what that matter really comes down to is, parents want to put their kids where they think they're going to thrive. We all want what's best for our kids. Class Dojo's mission is to give every child on earth an education they love. We also have consumers that are parents of our tool, that buy our tool as parents, and so I think we fit pretty interestingly in that school choice world, because I'd like to think that you know parents want to send their kids to a place where they feel like they're welcome and have a great culture. And then maybe one other crisis that you didn't mention is like teacher shortage.
Yep.
And so like when we see districts that maybe decide to go a different direction than Class Dojo, I mean, quite honestly, we've had teachers that kind of hurts morale. Like, why would you take this away? Why would you take away a tool that has been rapidly adopted by 45 million families with basically no professional development? It must be working. Why would you take that away? And so, probably more crisis you want to talk about, but I'll start there.
No, that's great. And I think what you guys are doing is fantastic.
Yeah,
The results is just amazing.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Right.
Yeah. So it's been a fun place.
Awesome. And speaking of one of the results, Dr. TH, you're a user, of course, of Class Dojo, and you obviously had a problem or a situation you were trying to solve. What was that situation, and how did Class Dojo help, and then what results did you actually get?
Yeah, absolutely. So we became a Class Dojo district this past year, and that has been a game changer for me at the district level, not for oversight, but to help us identify gaps and then work with our rep to establish strategies. So one of our gaps was our turnaround time for our parent communication. So a teacher sends a message or a parent sends a message, and that response time. And we wanted to get that within 24 hours. We know that it's so important that parents feel connected, and the longer you wait, the less they feel connected to us.
Yep.
So we worked with our rep, and we did a little competition with our K-5 schools and our principals. We made sure it aligned with their school improvement plan. So every school had a parent engagement goal. And so we worked with that. And at the end of 3 weeks, it was a really quick competition, but at the end of 3 weeks, every one of our schools was over 90% in their communication within 24 hours between parent and students. And that was phenomenal for us. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
And of course, you continue to see better, more results, more results, more results.
Yeah, absolutely. So after that, we decided one of the things that we've noticed is that when we communicate with parents, after several messages, those messages can get buried.
Mm-hmm.
And so we established a timeline. So if you have an event, you would say 3 weeks out, send out the first notice, and then 2 weeks out, send out that reminder. And then 2 days before, it's here, it's coming. And so that's really helped, especially with our activities after school, like Title I evenings and stuff. And it can be difficult to get parents to come. We've seen an increase in parents coming to the schools for those activities because they have that reminder along the way and getting them excited for that.
That's awesome. That's it gives me chills.
Yeah.
Incredible. Okay, so Chad, I just want to ask you one more thing. Is there anything up and coming
Yeah.
you want people to know about? And what's crazy?
Well, I think for us, I think the big new thing, and I joined Class Dojo about 6 months ago. It's Class Dojo for districts. So which is what Kimberly's alluding to. So thinking about like we said, message oversight, not to be a gotcha, but like to protect teachers and make sure that that you can see what's going on between the teacher and the parents. Admin access, student information system integration, single sign-on, analytics, custom PDs. We just sent out our first SMS urgent alert last week, testing that. So text messaging, and then like district announcements, and then we've been adding to we have an AI sidekick for teachers, which will help with lesson plans, thank you notes, emails. That's built into the tool. So like, that's literally all the stuff we've just done in this first half of 2025. So like, and then we have, looking into 2026, we're really looking at like teacher to student messaging with some oversight, social media broadcasts, automated voice calls, and then automated attendance alerts. So these are to me, some things that are pretty fun, as a former administrator too, like are pretty fundamental that we need to do if we're going to move from teacher to school to district, right? We've got to do these things. We're super committed to it. Still 100% free for families or for the district. And so, yeah, that's what we're up to.
Amazing, man.
So,
I'm just
yeah,
wow. Amazing work.
yeah, it's fun. It's been so fun to work there for 6 months. We're moving so fast.
Yeah, and then to get to see the results.
And we recently launched a customer advisory board, and so that's really how we met. And so we've collected this amazing group of educators from around the country, and they're we meet once a quarter. They're literally like with our product team, giving the feedback on this stuff, and they've gave us a lot to think about in the first meeting. So this will change, but that's what I can commit to without the product team killing me right now. So like that's what we're working on right now. So
and what I think is most amazing, you guys are going to the source.
Yeah.
And not just presupposing this is what will work, this is what.
Yeah, I think that's the way to do it. I mean, I think I go back, really to my Amazon days, of customer obsession, working backwards from the customer. And I think a lot of education companies, not just Class Dojo, have fit into that model. There's certainly a lot that don't, but I think people are getting smarter about, let's listen to what our customers want. And then with AI, getting into the AI topic and technology, like you can go so fast, you can build so fast. Your coders, or you don't want to get in all the back end nuts and bolts of a company, because that's probably not what your readers want to hear. But like the point is you can build really fast in the AI world, if just like the teachers are using it. So
awesome. And then Dr. Th, you're doing some great things with generative AI. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Absolutely. August of 23, I came into this role, and by November, Gen AI was prevalent across education. North Carolina was really in top and in front of that, so we formed an AI collaborative. By February, my district saw the need to put in a policy. But the policy really wasn't our goal, our guidance documents for our stakeholders. So we developed teacher, parent, and student guidance documents, one-pagers that succinctly outline our vision and our goals for our students. In the classroom, we created rubrics for our students, and that has fundamentally changed how we view AI in our district. It's a tool. It's not the end-all, be-all, but we know it's here, and we've got to harness the power of AI. The first time I realized in 17 years, we are preparing students for jobs that were created yesterday. And that's a call to action for us. So we have to do things differently and make that safe for our students as well.
Very well done.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Well, thank you both for taking the time
Yeah,
to
absolutely.
speak to our readers. And